Let us chant Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are discussing about the Gunas. Guna means, we said there are three meanings of Gunas. Guna means out of which this whole creation has come. Guna also means special qualities like sattva, rajas and tamas. Guna also means that which binds. Now, what is the difference between one person and another person? Or any given two objects? Or let us take an example. Supposing it is Rasgulla. It could be sattvic, it could be rajasic, it could be tamasic. How can one sweet meat be of three qualities? See, if it is made in the best possible manner, offered to God, that becomes sattvic. Suppose it is not made properly, or sugar is more, and it is not offered to God, so just people gobble it up, and it makes them more desirous and also more restless, Sugar can make people more restless. If you give chocolates to some hyperactive children, what would be the result? So that kind of effect, if it is there, then that sweet meat deserves to be called as rajasic. Suppose it is pocha, decomposing, tasteless, and it evokes kind of disgust, and it is given by people who are not devoted to God and all those qualities. Then what is it called? Tamasic. Every object, you name it, it can be in any one of these three conditions. So we can examine by ourselves in which quality we are. Usually every person throughout life is dominated by one particular quality. And why is it so necessary, and why this subject is so interesting? You see, there are people who get diseases. These diseases also are caused by what? By gunas. See, supposing somebody is a lobi, he eats, overeats, and that is what is happening now. Two things. People are dominated by rajas, not by tamas, not by sattva at all, by rajas. How do we know? What are the effects of rajas? According to Thakur, only two. What are those? Kama and kanchana. Man wants to have more and more and more. And he also wants to enjoy sex. Kama and kanchana. Enjoy. As a result, what happens? The mind becomes extremely restless. People are also working long hours nowadays. Have you noticed it? Say, 20 years back, what is the average working time of an ordinary person?
8 hours.
Now, just imagine how many hours they are working.
10, 12 hours.
Yeah. Will it have an effect or not? Definitely it will have an effect. So you see, everything has got what is called, becomes a vicious circle. Just because a person works long time, then he becomes very rajasic. Because he becomes rajasic, his desires will increase. Because his desires increase, and therefore he also works a longer time. He doesn't know how to spend his time. So it becomes vicious circle. That is why Thakur said, in this age, the Shakti, Ma Kali, has become very awakened. Not only she became awakened, but she can be awakened for a good purpose. But here, the adverse effects are felt. People, they have energy, they earn money, and they don't have any principles, they don't believe in God, they go on working. These qualities, these gunas, usually one particular guna dominates or find out by the nature of your work. Keep a diary for a few days, how you spend your time. Whole life is spent. Your whole 24 hours are spent. And how many different things you are doing. You will understand very clearly and what type of guna is dominating your life. This discussion is useful not only in spiritual life, it is much more useful even in worldly life. Because 1/3 of the people are mentally sick. If this is true, then what type of life are we leading? That's why it is very necessary for us to examine this and say, I want to enjoy world. Fine, enjoy the world. Who prevents you from enjoying the world? But do you know how to enjoy the world? That's why I said last time, the scripture has 3 functions. What are those 3 functions? It tells us what to desire. It tells us how to get them. The scripture also tells us how to enjoy. What desires we should have and how we should go about in order to obtain those desires and how to enjoy them. Do you remember? What to desire? Oh, are we not intelligent people? Don't we know what to desire? No, sir, you don't know what to desire. Do you mean to say that all of us want to become spiritual? No. 99% of the scriptural teaching is not meant for spiritual people. They are meant for worldly people. That's why the 4 Purusharthas, what do they do? You know, in no religion, you will get that crystal clear understanding, teaching. Yes, every human being, ordinary, including ordinary human being, not extraordinary. How many desires one can have? Only 4. Or one should have only 4 desires. What are those? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. What are Artha and Kama? Kamini Kanchan, Kama Kanchan, what Thakur used to call Kama Kanchan. Why is the scripture telling about Kama Kanchan? A person who doesn't know scripture, do you think he will not know, oh, I should desire money, I should desire enjoyment? Do you think he will not do that? He will do that. But what they are telling is, the dharma, first dharma, you must be intelligent. Dharma means intelligent. First be intelligent, not a fool. A fool also rushes, like a monkey.
Dharma is righteousness, no?
I will come to that. That's why dharma has many meanings. The first meaning, the best meaning of dharma is that right understanding. Yes. Otherwise, we become like monkeys. You know how they catch monkeys? I have seen it. It's a very interesting thing. You try to catch a monkey, it's practically impossible. The monkey catchers, what they do, they have a mud pot, some kind of pot, with a very narrow neck. And inside, they put fried mumpali, peanuts.
Monkey nuts.
Yeah, monkey nuts. And then they put these monkey nuts, they tie this on a branch, high branch, with a rope. And the monkeys know immediately they can't resist. The moment the fellow comes down, the fellows will go. It's all free. So they put their hand. Very easily the hand goes inside the pot. But the moment they catch the peanuts, they can't take out the hand. This fellow will simply go. They know they should escape, but they are not able to, they don't want to give up the peanuts. And with peanuts, the hand will not come out. Without peanuts, easily it will go and come out. With peanuts, it will not come out. And immediately it will catch hold of the neck. And it is hanging like that. It is also shouting, screaming. It abuses. You rascal, you rogue. Monkey language. Human being without dharma is like a monkey. That's why humorously I put it, what is the difference between a monk and a monkey? Only a key. What is that key? Ahankara. Give that ahankara to God, then a monkey becomes a monk. Hanuman. See, Vali. Vali did not give up his ahankara to Rama. That's why he was killed. But Hanuman and Sugriva, immediately they gave up their ahankara. That's why Hanuman is the greatest monk in the world. Yeah. See, our minds are like monkeys. So that's why dharma means right understanding. Then the scripture is not telling us, don't enjoy the world. It's enjoy it. It is prescribing, enjoy it, artha, but with dharma. Kama. So 3 things I told. What is that? What to desire. What to desire? The scripture not only tells artha, kama. The whole worldly desires can be designated as artha and kama. And that is not the end of life, because there comes a time when we can't enjoy. We should know that old people, they can't enjoy, and yet they can't give up. They go on running. And this terrible thing lands them. What is there? You enjoyed it. 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, you enjoyed it, eating or whatever. Give it up. And there are other things to do. But no, they go on reading newspapers, they go on chit-chatting, they are doing. Why don't you enjoy? Okay, I can't pass my time. All right, read some good stories. Their beautiful literature is there. Not these trashy things. Good things are there. Stories. Enjoy them. Why these stupid magazines, stupid newspapers? Even in India, Ramakrishna Mission, practically every ashrama is every day morning. So many types of newspapers come, especially in North India. I never encouraged, this newspaper and other things. There is radio is there. You hear the head news. I have TV. I just see few. Nowadays I don't even see, because you can get the main news from when you are on the internet. You can get the main news. If there is anything, you can see. If there is nothing, it is a waste of time. Now what is the purpose of reading this so many pages and pages and small newspaper and go on? Once you read it, what do you think you are going to do? You are going to discuss or criticize this government, that government, this minister, that minister, this rogue, that. What is it to do with devotees? For devotees, they should read only 3 types of stories, storybooks. Morning, they should read about kidnapping. Noon, they should read about gambling stories. And night, they should read about stealing stories. That's all. You understand? Yeah. No? Morning, kidnapping story. Women being kidnapped. Ramayana. Noon, gambling stories. Mahabharata. Night, stealing stories. Bhagavatam. So you must read at least a little bit, read Kathamrita, read Direct Disciples' Lives. Wonderful book has come, new book, fantastic book. Swami Brahmananda, as we saw him. Latest book. Oh, all the reminiscences of so many people is collected, and rare photos of Swami Brahmananda ji. All this for Madras, the editor of Vedanta Kesari has brought out. And also our Prabhupada Bharata, Vedanta Kesari, at 100 years, more than 100 years, all the issues now you can read on your computer. If you have time, if you don't need money, then sit here and take some interest, develop interest. Interest also develops. Anyway, what is the point? The scripture tells us what to desire. So it is telling 99% of the people are worldly people. So artha and kama. You want to enjoy? Then with right understanding. You enjoy. How much to enjoy? What time to enjoy? What is the way to enjoy? So what to desire? How to get them? And it tells us by hook or crook you can't get them. Only through dharma you can get them. Having God, then how to enjoy them? These are the topics. But the ultimate desirable thing is only happiness. But happiness comes with a crown of misery on its head if you go for after the objects. That's why it says, go after God. Then you will not have much problem. No problem at all. With God, no problem at all. Because He is not going to quarrel with you. He is not going to divorce you. And you can divorce Him. But He can't divorce you, because where else is He going to go? So, He is always His gracious smile. He can't put up a frowning face, because that is not possible for Him. So if you want to abuse, abuse God. If you want to criticize, criticize God. If you want to talk, talk about God. So this is the purpose of the scriptures. So what is the purpose of this discussion? Find out which guna is dominating you, and first you find out, diagnose, and then slowly, if you are suffering from tamoguna, then go to rajoguna. If you are suffering from rajoguna, then go to sattvaguna. But ultimately sattvaguna is also a binding factor. This is the discussion we had. Now you see here, look here. So when one quality is more manifest, then how does it do? It suppresses the other two qualities. It cannot destroy, but it can only suppress. But even better way of understanding it is, there are really not three qualities. There is only one quality. And that quality, if it is manifesting in one way, it is called sattva. If that is manifesting in another way, it is called rajas. If it is manifesting in another way, that is called tamas. You know, like dimmer light is there, dimmer light. So if you turn it the highest, then it will give the best light. Slowly you reduce the... So what is darkness? Less light is darkness. And more light is, or less darkness is more light. Do you understand now? There are not three gunas. There is only one guna, but it manifests in three different ways. But any manifestation of guna is alien to us. It is called anatma or maya or prakriti, and we should get out of it. But the way to get out of it, it works. Sattva guna works like a springboard. Like, in the swimming pool, springboard. So, if you want to jump into God, then you can't jump from tamas, you can't jump from rajas, you can only jump from sattva guna. Thakur compared these three gunas to three robbers. This is the discussion. So what happens? Rajas tamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamah sattvam rajas tatha. Sattva manifests overpowering rajas and tamas. Rajas manifests overpowering sattva and tamas. And likewise tamas manifests overpowering sattva and rajas. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivruddham sattvamityuta. When sattva guna predominates, you know what happens? Through all the sense openings in this body, the light of knowledge radiates. Then indeed, one should know that sattva predominates. So it happens in two ways. First, really light comes out. From Thakur's every pore of the body, light used to emanate as though shining. It is said when Swami Vivekananda, he used to sleep in his room, Swamiji's room, one day Swami Vivekananda at midnight, and he got up, he wanted to go to the toilet. He saw Swamiji's room was shining like midday sun. He thought, where from this light is coming? He peeped in. What did he see? Light was, Swamiji was deep in meditation. This light was just pouring out of his body. Thakur's brother disciple, I think it was Girija, from his backbone, a flood of light had come. So, actual light will come. But that's not the real point. Real point means every sense organ, it acts, it works 100%. How does it work 100%? You know, your eyes are looking at a book. Then 90% of your mind is covered with tamas. You know, like a dull, lazy student. Everything is there. His first class book is there. Wonderful light is there. Marvelous table is and chair is there. And the book is open. The light is on. And he is Aankhi dhulu dhulu. What goes inside? But a person who has highest alertness, the moment he looks at it, he takes in 100 details. He absorbs the essence of what he is reading, what he is seeing. So, just one example I will give you. You know, Swami Vivekananda, he used to read not pages but chapters. It is like photographic memory. How do you think he is doing it? Yogic power? No, it's not yogic power. So many people have that same power. Photographic memory. Because he used to focus his mind. That means the sattva, concentration, is the sign of sattva. And this sattva is predominant in him. Therefore, whatever he does, when he listens 100%. When he sees 100%. When he smells 100%. When he tastes, he smells 100%. And when he touches 100%. That means whatever he is doing, he is paying 100% attention. That's why they are able to look in. George Washington Carver, he was a small boy, Negro slavish boy. Some kind couple had taken him under this because he was almost dying. He was working for them. And he could not even talk. He could only stammer. And one day he looked at one of the trees. And he caught hold of the farmer's hand. He was tugging, like that. The farmer looked and looked and looked. He could not see anything. But this fellow was pointing out. Then the farmer knew he was seeing something which he himself was not seeing but not perceiving. Then he climbed the tree, looked. Hundreds of small mites were killing that particular tree. And he immediately took action. But of course, he had faith in. He was wondering, how could the small boy see? How could he see? He could see because he had that 100% attention to it, interest, 100% interest. When you have 100% interest, you would see so many things. If you don't have interest, then you don't see anything, is it not? So when there is a big party, then hundreds of women, and many of them have decorated themselves. Then what do you, the first thing you are seeing? Are you seeing God, or are you seeing each woman and say, oh, this woman's ornament is better than this person? Are you not observing? That means you have the eyes, you have the interest. But why can't you pay the same attention to some things, something else? No, because you have absolutely no interest at all. Interest is what makes it. Sattva guna makes concentration. Concentration comes only when there is interest. Without interest, first comes interest, then comes concentration. Otherwise, you can't force a person to concentrate, however much you know it is good for that person. You have to create interest in that subject. So when sattva guna increases, that means interest or love increases. That is why only a sattvika person can love. Why does he love? Because he is interested. Why is he interested? Because he has right understanding. Sattva guna means right understanding. Sattva guna means greatest interest. Sattva guna means greatest concentration. That is why Thakur used to say, there is a big mela. Hundreds of beautiful gods and goddesses. But worldly people, what do? There is a images of some dancers. peculiar images. They are all rounding and shouting and clapping and laughing round that. These stupid fellows, they don't go, such beautiful gods and goddesses are there, because they are getting lot of juice out of that stupid images. Thakur gives that example. Interest should be there. Karmana sukrutasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasah phalam. The result of virtuous action is said to be sattvic and pure. The result of rajas is pain, while ignorance is the result of tamas. Again he is describing the result. How do we develop sattva guna? By doing virtuous actions. What is a virtuous action? Punya. Punya karma. What is virtuous action? Punya karma. And how do we know which is punya karma? Because the scripture tells us what is punya karma. So if we follow the scripture and follow and do it accordingly with great faith in it, then slowly we become sattvika people. And what is the result of rajas? Pain. Rajas never gives happiness. Happiness always springs from sattva guna. If there is pain, you must understand that rajoguna had taken possession of you. And complete ignorance is the result of tamoguna. That is what you have to understand. Sattvat sanjayate gnanam rajaso lobhaye cha pramada moha tamaso bhavato ajnaname cha. From sattva results knowledge, from rajas greed, and from tamas nothing but inadvertence, delusion and ignorance. Again is reason. So from gnana means knowledge. Knowledge means what? Right knowledge. Because there is also wrong knowledge. There is also absence of knowledge. Knowledge can be in three states: right knowledge, wrong knowledge and absence of knowledge. So right knowledge comes from where? Sattva. So wrong knowledge comes from where? Rajas. And absence of knowledge comes from tamoguna. Tamoguna is if you are sleeping, what knowledge will you get? You don't get. But if you are rajasic, then your mind is restless. That is why you miss half you hear right and half you hear. Sometimes when you are talking, you don't really listen. Half your mind is somewhere else. 90% of the mind is somewhere else, and 10% is because politeness demands, so you are listening. So this fellow is telling, I am going to India on 20th of this month. So you are going to India 20th of December, is it? No. I am going to India 20th of this month. You heard 20th, but in between your mind has gone away somewhere. What condition is that? Rajoguna, wrong knowledge, it is coming. Again and again you are asking, because you are not properly listening at all.
But sometimes it's helpful not to listen.
No. If you have chosen deliberately not to listen, that is a different. We are not talking about that. Whether you want to listen, not to listen, you choose. But if you are chosen to listen, then listen completely. Yeah. Pay attention to it. Because if you are wasting time with somebody, it doesn't help you. You can't think of something else. 50% here and 50% there. You are neither here nor there, isn't it? Yeah. Either pay attention to this or tell the person politely, look, I can only give you so much time, I have other works to do. The idea is, you want to be polite, you want to be talking with him, smiling, but your mind is somewhere else. Na ghar ka, na ghat ka. So that doesn't help. That is the idea. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunavrittistha adho gachanti tamasaha. Those who abide in sattva go upwards to higher lokas. The rajasika dwell in the middle spheres, and the tamasika dwelling in the functions of the lowest guna go downwards to lower spheres. This verse is interpreted in two ways. In this life itself, those who have got sattva guna, they go on progressing from a lower state to higher state. Even in worldly wise, they become better doctors and better scientists, better musicians, better in everything. Better persons, better cooks, better everything. Whereas the Rajasika persons, they attain because their mind is restless. They can't pay attention to anything. And those who are dull, they go down and they go on complaining, why we are not being promoted. No, we are not going to be promoted because everybody is selfish. Whom do you employ? Suppose you want to employ somebody. Do you employ somebody who is a lazy fellow, knowingly? Thakur gives an example. Somebody a farmer wants to buy a bullock or a bull. What do you think? How do you think he judges the bullock? Some bullocks, they don't even look at you. If you touch, you go on pulling the tail, nothing happens. Some, you just pull and they will be looking at you, why you are doing that. Some, the moment you go near the tail and start touching, they just jump and then they want to gore you. The farmers know this is the best, because the bullock's purpose is not to be sattvika. A bullock must be endowed with rajas, not with sattva. A sattvika or tamasika sampanna bullock is completely useless. Yeah. So, this is one meaning. Other meaning is, when persons dominated by one of these three gunas, after their death, giving up this body, to which lokas they go. So, those who are endowed with sattva, they go to higher lokas. Why? Because their thoughts are always of the higher lokas. There is a funny tradition in India. You see, Hindus are supposed to go around all the tirtha, pilgrim places of punya kshetras, but they don't complete everything. Keep one, because if you have not done one, your mind will say, oh, I did not go there, oh, I did not go there. I will be remembering it more. So that is why go on keeping. There is no way you can forget about it. So sattva guna sampannas, what do you think they will remember at the time of, what are they remembering throughout life? Only higher things, God, afterlife, punya, dharma, etc. And therefore, when they die, where are their thoughts? On higher things. Naturally, they will go to higher worlds. Rajoguna people, they are thinking of what? They are thinking higher things, but belonging to this world. That is why they will be reborn as manushas. But tamasika people, they are worse than animals. That is why they will be taking birth, a very tamasic person. Next birth, what do you think he will become? Which animal? An animal called sloth. There is an animal called sloth. It's so big, like panda. To move 1 foot, it will take 2 hours. So these birds, there are some very huge eagles and kites. They just go there. David Attenborough was showing. Just come, and they will see from a long distance, and then they just put their claw and then take it away. The fellow knows, I am going to be carried away, but he can't move, he can't help. That is called sloth. So this is how each guna determines our future. Is it not logical, rational, that if you are a sattvika person, what would be your next birth? Even if you have to be reborn, what would be your next birth? You will be born in a family which will help you to progress further. If you are a rajasic person, you will be bound by desires, and you are bound to experience more pain, because the result of rajas is pain, greed, more activity and pain. And Satvika person, knowledge, interest, love and dharma, that is why only happiness. Sattvat sanjayate sukham. Whereas a tamasic person, he will be just like a fish or a worm or whatever it is, he will become. That is why it is important for us not to become worms. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. When the seer beholds no agent other than the gunas and knows that which is beyond the gunas, he attains my being. Now I have to go a little bit back to the 13th chapter. What was the name of the 13th chapter? Kshetra, Kshetrajna. What is Kshetra? Anything that is experienced is Kshetra. And the person or the being who experiences that. So, just to bring back, recall our memory, you are seeing me. So, who is seeing me? Is your body seeing me? Is your mind seeing me? No. Whatever is experienced is a Kshetra. Whatever is experienced is non-conscious. Only a conscious being can experience. So really the Atman alone can experience, but it uses both the mind and the body as its instruments. Do you see the point? So that is what is reminding here. So who sees and what is seen, both these actions, instruments, they all belong to gunas. That means all the three gunas, which is called Maya, is called Kshetra. But the Atman is called Kshetrajna. The Kshetrajna is different from the Kshetra, completely different from the Kshetrajna. Both are completely different. To make this point clear, I will give an example. Now, I am here. I am seeing you. As an example. So, then in that case, what do you become? Kshetra. What do I become? Kshetrajna. So, if I am Kshetrajna and you are Kshetra, are we one or are we separate? Am I and you one? Completely separate. Is it not?
Yes.
Only thing is, we know that what we experience is different from us. In every case, excepting our own body and mind. When it comes to that, then we get confused. Am I seeing my body or not? Am I seeing my body? When do we see? From morning till evening, we see our body. Don't we?
We cannot see our eyes.
Huh?
We cannot see our eyes.
Yeah, what else? Can you see your back?
No, we cannot see.
Can you see your
anything.
back?
Cannot
No,
see
no,
our
what
back.
is meant is, that's why you use a
Mirror.
mirror. In mirror you can see your front, your back. Not only that, this is one type of mirror. There is a social mirror. How do others look at me? Do they compliment me? I am beautiful, I am wonderful, I am marvelous, I am a great devotee. All these certificates we expect from others. Why don't you give the certificate to yourself? Am I a devotee? Not because others tell you, but that I am really, I love God. If I love God, my interest will be only godly. So it is very economical also. Because if I am a devotee, I eat less, I am satisfied with one or two dresses, and I sleep less, and I enjoy my, prasad and reading and all those things. Through these activities, I know that I am a lover of. If I am attached to my money, to my house, to my children, going on worrying about them, that means I am not a devotee of God. I am only devotee of the world. This is how we have to analyze ourselves. Anyway, the example I am giving is, you are seeing me. Therefore, you know clearly that you and I are not same. You are the seer, I am the seen. We understand this. But when it comes to our body and mind, I become one with my body and I also become one with my mind. That is where the Maya comes in. But whatever I am experiencing, that is Maya, that is Kshetra, that is separate. So if I am seeing my body, the body is separate from me. If I am seeing my mind, do I see my mind? Yes, I say my mind is worried. My mind is unhappy. Don't you see? If you see, that means you are not your mind, you are a witness. If you are a witness, you are separate from your body and mind. Don't you see?
Yes.
That is why, then what is it that witnesses the body and mind? That principle is called Kshetrajna, Ishvara, pure consciousness. That is why he is telling, whatever happens, you are eating. Who is eating? Kshetra is eating Kshetra. One Kshetra is eating another Kshetra. Here is a fruit, that is one Kshetra. Here is my body. This is another Kshetra. So my body is eating this fruit. That means what? Gunas are working on gunas. If the body is experiencing body, if the mind is experiencing mind, then I have nothing to do with it, because the Atman never experiences Atman. One doesn't experience oneself. There is no need. Experience always means something else. That is why, how do we know? Because in deep sleep, there is neither body nor mind. Therefore, what is your experience? You don't say, I experience myself. What do you say? I slept happily, I did not know anything. These are difficult concepts, but we have to listen, we have to think, and you have to understand, each one of us have to understand it our own selves, that the Atman never experiences itself as it experiences any other thing.
Spiritual joy, is it also the body and the mind?
No,
If you experience
no,
spiritual
no,
joy?
there is no joy in any kshetra. The joy comes from within. But an object can act like a remover of obstacle. Here is light. Here is a curtain, thick black curtain, imagine. So removing the curtain, is the curtain bringing light? What does it do? It just removes the what?
Darkness.
It doesn't remove the darkness. It doesn't bring light.
Yeah.
It just
allows.
no, it just removes itself. That means that itself is the obstruction. That obstruction itself removes. When the obstruction is removed, then the light automatically comes. Do you understand this? That means joy is the nature of Atman, Sat, Chit, Ananda. So what happens, I spoke on this subject umpteen number of times. What is the anatomy of happiness? So let us say, I am hungry. When I am hungry, the desire comes. I want food. I am not happy. I am hunger. Hunger means what? Unhappiness. Hunger means what? Thirst means what? Unhappiness. So unhappiness comes. What is the nature of unhappiness? I am unhappy. I want to remove this unhappiness. That removal of unhappiness is called desire. I want food. When I am hungry, I am unhappy. How can I become happy? Because remove this hunger. How can I remove hunger? By eating food. So is the food giving happiness, or is it just removing the obstacle? Do you follow what I am talking about? You know, light is coming. You put one black curtain. Then what happens? Light does not come. Then you feel unhappy. Oh, I am not able to see anything. Then what do? Remove the curtain. You are not bringing light. You are simply removing the obstacle. Or, as Patanjali Rishi says, there is a river, there is a field. And in between, there are lots of mud is there. So your field needs water. So what do? What do? You make a channel. Making channel means what? You remove the obstruction between the river and the field. You are not bringing water, remember. So usually we say so many things that you are going in the car to the Vedanta center. Born end has come. What do you mean by born end has come? Has it gone somewhere?
We have reached.
That means we have reached born end. So what is the point here? The channel is not bringing water. What is the channel doing? It simply removed the obstructions between the river and the field. This is an important idea, so difficult to understand. You are not, I am bringing water, you are not bringing water. Water itself will come. But for the water to come, you will have to remove the obstacle. So you are not, no object is giving us happiness. What does it do? It simply removes the obstruction between me and my happiness, unhappiness. Remove the unhappiness. Then what happens? Automatically the Atman shines. How does it do? When you have a desire, when you are unhappy, it's because of some situation. So then a desire comes to remedy that situation. And then you take steps to fulfill your desire. That means what? You remedy that situation. So then what happens? The mind becomes non-hesitating. When you have desire, oh, I want food, I want food, I want food. But when you have eaten food, it doesn't say anything. If it doesn't say anything, it doesn't act like an obstruction. The mind simply removes itself. When the mind removes from the face of the consciousness or Atman, then Atman naturally manifests. You see the point? There is no happiness in any object. No happiness in any object. Happiness is not in any object. Happiness is within ourselves. But an object can remove the obstruction. Do you see the point?
But the whole life will be full of moving obstacles because unhappiness is always going to be.
That depends upon what is your understanding of reality. If you think I am the body, then bodily obstructions. If you think you are the mind, then mind-related obstructions. So spiritual practice is not to identify with the body and mind. Gradually, it takes time, but that is the ideal. Is this point clear? Happiness is not outside. So to understand this point, I will introduce another subject. Every object in this world has its ness, and nobody can remove that ness. Humanness, the appleness, banana-ness, etc. Or this, if you remove banana-ness from a banana, then will it deserve to be called banana?
No.
It will become something else. If you remove appleness from an apple, then it won't become apple. It will become something else. Therefore, this idea is important to know. If happiness is in the fruit, as an example, then it should always, that happiness should never deviate from that fruit. Isn't it? Yes. Like appleness, if happiness is the intrinsic nature of the fruit, then under all circumstances it should give happiness. But does any object give happiness consistently without? It all depends on the circumstances. So if you are in good place, at the right time, something will give you happiness. And that object also must be in the right way. How many times it changes, is if the fruit will rot. When the fruit rots, will it give you happiness? But look, I'll give another example. What is the intrinsic nature of fire? Heat. Whether it is big fire or small fire, you will never get rid of its heat. Is it not? Oh, it's very small, it is covered with ashes. You put your finger there, it will burn. But you put some dry firewood, immediately it blazes up. So even if the fire, if it is small or big, it will never lose its capacity to give heat or burn. That is called its intrinsic nature. So whether the fruit is small or big, whether it is fresh or rot, it should give the same amount of happiness. But happiness is not its intrinsic nature. That is why the happiness comes from the subject, not from the object. Another example, just to make this, suppose there is a couple and they just got married and they are so much in love with each other. Whenever they look at each other, they derive so much happiness. If the happiness were to be in the couple, then whatever be the circumstances, that they should always derive only happiness. But suppose the wife gets very angry, will she give happiness at the time to the husband? If the husband is very angry or annoyed, do you think he will give happiness to her? So if the intrinsic nature is not happiness, neither it is unhappiness. It all depends upon the perceiver. When we are in good mood, right mood, then everything gives happiness. When we are in bad mood, everything gives unhappiness. Even if Sri Ramakrishna comes, you will simply push him aside and go. If you are not in a good mood, is it not? Yeah, this is the truth. So the point is so hard for us because what is Maya? Maya makes us think happiness is in the object. That is why we are so much attached. But spiritual, when you are spiritual, when you are sitting in meditation, real meditation, then happiness comes from where? Is there any object there? There is no object. Your very mind becomes your object. That is why that happiness is greatest, because you can get it 24 hours wherever you are, because you carry your mind with you wherever you go. But if you depend upon anything else, then it will create unhappiness. This idea is difficult to understand. Even if we understand, much more difficult to accept. These are the 2 points you have to understand. First, understanding is difficult. Second, even if you understand intellectually, to accept it is very difficult. Even after accepting also, it is very difficult to live according to that acceptance. These are the 3 points. That is why we understand up here so many things, but our habits will not allow us to. That is why when Duryodhana was asked, he was lying with his thighs broken in the battlefield. Somebody went and asked him, "Prince, you are very intelligent. Did you not know before the war started that you are going to die?" He said, "Yes, I knew beforehand I am going to die." "Then why did you do it?" He says, "Janami dharmam nacha me pravrutti." I know what is right, but I have absolutely no desire to do it. "Janami adharmam nacha me nivrittihi." I know what is adharma, but I don't have the slightest desire to deviate from it. A drunkard, does he not know that drinking is bad?
Yeah.
But still he runs after it. Even though his family is ruined, his job is gone, and the unhappiness follows, still he goes. A drug addict, does he not know? Intellectually we all know. Intellectually we all know. First of all, even though we know it, we don't accept it. Even when we accept it, the old samskaras won't allow to practice it. That is why God's grace is necessary, because He will give us the right understanding. He will give us the emotional strength to accept it. He will give us the opportunity to practice what we accept. These 3 can come only through. That is why Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshayaha. Very necessary. So what is the goal? The goal is to go beyond the gunas, and know that I do not belong to gunas. The gunas also do not belong to me. I and my gunas. That means I am separate from my body. I am separate from my mind. The whole universe is contained only in these two things. If you don't have physical body, physical world totally disappears. If you don't have the mind, totally the subtle world also disappears. But the Atman is much separate, much beyond this body and mind. That's its meaning. Look here. Gunani tanatitya trin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto mritamashnute. Having transcended these three gunas, which are the cause of this body, the embodied self, bereft of birth, death, old age and misery, attains immortality. He attains his own nature. If you know you are not the body mind, then you know who you really are. There are only two things, Kshetrajna and Kshetra. If you are not Kshetra, then you are Kshetrajna. The difficulty is, the Kshetrajna thinks he is the Kshetra, and the Kshetra thinks it is the Kshetrajna. This is the mixture that is the most important problem. There was a Christian monastery, and it's a very strict rule. No monk should ever touch a woman. So there was a gate. There is a gate. And any man or woman, a woman comes, anybody comes, they have to talk from outside the gate. The monks will be inside, the visitors will be outside. So once a lady came who knew one of the monks from childhood. They grew up neighboring houses. So she came to see him. So he went and they shook hands through the grill. Very innocent, nothing wrong, just as a friend, known person. But this was immediately reported to the superior. When he called this monk and severely scolded, we have a rule, you should never touch, much less a woman. Then the monk said, but I didn't have any bad thought in my mind. We only shook because that is what outside people do. And you see, the monk told, my son, what is wrong if two people shake hands? Is there anything wrong? He said, that's not like that. You see, rainwater by itself is very good. The clay by itself, the earth by itself is also very good. But when these two things come together, the result is not so good. The mud is not so good. You see, when Kshetra and Kshetrajna come into contact with each other, then the result is not very good. This is called samsara. Samsara means what? Kshetra and Kshetrajna thinking that they are one. They are non-separate. We think I am the body, I am the mind. The body and the mind also think I am and I and the Atman are one. This total personality we call it. Who has got that divine knowledge to separate? I am Atman, but this is a body and mind. If a person has that, he will always say, I have a body, I have a mind. He will never say, I am the body or I am the mind. Having heard this, Arjuna put a question here. Kair lingais strin gunanetan atito bhavati prabho kimachara katham chaitan strin gunanati vartate. Arjuna asks, by what characteristics, O Lord, is one who has transcended these three gunas known? What is his conduct and how does he transcend these three gunas? So how to know whether a person has transcended these gunas and how to transcend these three gunas? And how do we recognize a person who has transcended these three gunas? Sri Bhagavan vacha prakashancha pravrittincha mohamevacha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanivrittani kankshati. The blessed Lord said, he who doesn't hate when the light of knowledge, activity and delusion arise, O son of Pandu, nor desires them When they cease, that means what? He becomes complete witness. For example, suppose Sri Ramakrishna is hungry and he says to somebody, I am hungry, bring food. What do you think when he says, I am hungry, bring food? What does he mean? He means this body is hungry, it needs some food, you please bring food. Suppose somebody comes and says, so you are a saint. He says, what do you mean by saint? I am not a saint. I am not a saint, I was not a saint, I will not be a saint. Strange. Was Sri Ramakrishna not a saint? A Paramahamsa? He says, I was never, you attained moksha. I never attained moksha.
I want always.
Because I was never in. Do you say to anybody, so I am very happy now that I have come out of jail. When you have never gone to the jail, how can you say that now that I have come out of jail I am very happy? You can never say that. If you had gone to jail, then you are released, then you can say that. A knower, he knows I was never in bondage, therefore I was never released. There is no bandha, this is the extreme view. I am talking about the extreme view. But for us, we say, oh, I was in some sorrow for a long time. Now I am without any sorrow because I am out of some sorrow. This is what we are thinking. But when you are released, you never say, just I am giving an example, how it works. Suppose you go to bed and you have a dream. In the dream, the police had dragged you into a jail and you are thrashed, you are put in a dungeon, foul smelling, full of rats and cockroaches and insects and all that. And they were threatening to come and torture you some more. And you are shivering. It is cold, it is wet, it is dirty, you are hungry, they didn't give you food. And suddenly you wake up. After waking up, do you go and embrace everybody in the house and say, I am so lucky, I have come out of the jail, police had taken me. Would you say that? Because if you say that, they will laugh at you. What type of stupid books are you reading? Why were you having this kind of stupid dream at all in the first place? You must have done something before you went to sleep. Is it not nightmarish? Because that was never real, you will never come and say that, oh, I am so pleased, I have come out of this jail. You will simply say that was a stupid thought, now I don't have that stupid thought. I was never in jail and therefore I was never released. A mukta, Jivan Mukta, always feels like this, as though this was a huge dream. But for us it is real. But for a released soul, it is just a stupid thought in the mind. In fact, I won't go into this. Everything is a thought. This is my husband. Is it a thought or not? Suppose, just for fun, this woman married and a man, her husband, what does she say? This is my husband. So after few days, then both of them, they were seen in a party. And somebody comes, oh, how is your husband? No, I don't have husband. I left him long back. At that time, she would not like to hear that this, even though that former husband was there, that may be former husband, not the present husband at all. So, what was that before? That was a thought in the mind. This is my husband. Later on, what was the thought in the mind? This is not my husband. Both are thoughts. It's all simply thought. You think bad of somebody, that is a thought in your mind. You think of good of somebody, that is another thought in the mind. It's a huge drama. Your whole dream, is it not a thought? When you wake up, you realize it is never a reality, but it is just a mere, the whole dream is nothing but a mere thought in your own mind, not in anybody's mind. Exactly in the same way, when a Jivan Mukta becomes free from this mind-body complex, he also realizes these are all nothing but thoughts in my mind. So it says, one who does not hate when something good happens, a Jivan Mukta, and when he doesn't run after something, if something has come to him, he doesn't rejoice, I have got something. In dream, you win a lottery ticket. Then in dream you rejoice. And imagine that the lottery ticket fellows, they presented you solid cash. And when you are about to take it inside your room, after thanking them, some fellow comes with a gun and snatches it away. And then suddenly you wake up. Then do you feel happy or unhappy? You neither feel happy nor unhappy, because that was only a thought. The thought that you have won a lottery ticket was a thought, and the thought that somebody had snatched away all your money was also another thought in your mind. So it is not a reality at all. That is the situation, and we can develop it even now. And that development, that everything is a thought, it is not a reality, that state is called dispassion or detachment. You see the point? Detachment doesn't mean you simply go away to Himalayas. It means whatever is happening, if somebody praises you, you are not elated. If somebody criticizes you, you are not depressed. Both are thoughts in the mind. That's what we have to develop, either now, in next birth, or after billion births. There is no other way. That's why he is reinforcing the thought. Udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate guna vartanta yatyevam yovadishthati nengate. He who rests like one indifferent and is not disturbed by the gunas, who realizing that the gunas alone function, is steady and doesn't waver at all. One small example. Swami Brahmanandaji was in a winter season in North India. He was sitting under a tree. He didn't have warm clothing. Then one merchant was passing by. So he presented one blanket. He did not disturb the Swami, just kept the blanket, bowed down and went his way. Very soon a man came, bowed down, took the prasadam. Maharaj was watching both. So what do you think he will be thinking? He will be thinking, first Sattva Guna came and then presented the blanket. Then Rajoguna came and taken away the blanket. So Sattva Guna was overcome by Rajoguna. That would be his thought. I have nothing to do with either of these gunas. So whatever happens, a person is not disturbed at all. That is called Udasina Avastha. That is why there is a sect in North India called Udasin Matha. They are monks who practice.
Weakness.
Huh?
To become just a weakness.
Yes, to weakness. Monks, these are called Udasin, Kabir Panthi. Udasins means, you just go on looking at it. Maya, go on looking at it.
But that is a happy state, although, isn't it?
It is a happiness, but not worldly happiness. It is a happiness coming from inside. It is a Sattva Guna. Yes. Samadukha sukha swastha samalostashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi manapa manayos tulyaha tulyo mitrari pakshayoh sarvarambha parityagi gunatitah savuchyate. These qualities described have been described. We read it in Sthita Prajna Lakshana, we read it in the 12th chapter, we read it in the 13th chapter, Amanitum, Adamvitam, Ahimsa, etc. Again he is repeating so that it will go into our brain. What is it? Alike in pleasure and pain, self-abiding, regarding a cloth of earth, a stone and gold as of equal worth, the same towards agreeable and disagreeable, calm, and the same in praise and blame, the same in honor and dishonor, the same towards friends and foe, habituated to renounce all actions. Such a person is said to have transcended the gunas. One who has transcended the gunas, he will have no desires, because desires are produced out of gunas. Just as an example, this body is a production of outcome of guna. This mind also is an outcome of gunas. Everything in this universe is an outcome of gunas. So if somebody thinks, I have a body, then there will be a desire. If you have a car, you have to maintain it. Is it not?
Yes.
If you have a body, you have to maintain it. Therefore, there will be a desire. This body is hungry, so it needs food. This car has no gas, no petrol, it needs petrol or engine oil, whatever. Similarly, the mind. If there is a mind, there will be desires born of the mind. What are the mind-born desires? You know, so the desire for name and fame, honor, and everybody should praise me. Everybody should say, you are a wonderful person, you are a beautiful person. The poor body doesn't know if beautiful or ugly. Who is it that knows? Only the mind that knows. But whatever people say, because this person has absolutely no interest. Just to give a funny example. Suppose, you are walking by the side of a pond, and there are number of frogs there. Some male frogs and some female frogs. So some male frogs are running after these female frogs. So one of the male frogs targets one of the female frogs. Oh, you are the most beautiful lady in this whole world. Suppose you happen to hear it. What would be your attachment to it? Or will you be interested when they are talking about each other? Just like that, a person who is Trigunatita, Gunatita, even if they are talking about his own body and mind, he will be exactly as indifferent, because he never considers this body and mind as his or hers. Is never, that idea never comes. The idea is that if somebody praises, simply say that they are praising not me, because the Atman is neither praised nor dishonored, because there is only one. That is the idea. Keep a little bit of balance. Somebody praises, in fact, be very, very alert. Why is this person suddenly praising? What is the motivation?
Yeah, that's true. What does he want?
What does this person want? Like your son, child. Suddenly, now he says, Mom, I hate you. Dad, I hate you. Suddenly, before Christmas, come and hug. Dad, I love you. Mom, I love you. Then you will have to suspect there is something more matlabi. Matlab na hole, erokom hoy na. These are called flatterers. So, what is the way to transcend the gunas? There is only one way. He told earlier. What does he say? He said, this Maya belongs to whom? Maya belongs to me. Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This Maya belongs to whom? To me. Therefore, if you want to get rid of Maya, what should you do? You should praise me, please me. If you please me, by my grace, you will overcome. Look, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He who serves me alone through the unswerving yoga of devotion transcends these gunas and becomes fit for the state of Brahman. That means who can become Brahman? Only a person who serves the Lord, is devoted to the Lord, obtains the grace of Lord. By His grace, then he says, if you please God, then God will say to his Maya, this is my person, Amar Lok. So do not trouble him, do not drown him. This is the only way, there is no other way. So what is the nature of the Lord? Brahmano hi pratishtaham amrutasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. For I am the embodiment of Brahman, of immutable immortality, of the eternal religion, and of absolute bliss. I am Sat Chit Ananda. And those who serve me, they become one with me. Surrender means becoming one. A drop of water falls into the ocean. That is called complete surrender. When the drop falls into the ocean, then where is the drop? There is no drop. There will be only ocean. So the only way is that those who are devoted to me, surrender themselves to me, they alone can transcend the gunas. That is why Thakur said, Ma, ei tumar dharma, ei tumar adharma. Here is your dharma, here is your adharma, here is your punya, here is your papa, here is your vidhi, and here is your nishedha. Please take them all. Grant me pure devotion at thy lotus feet. And mother gave it to him. And that's why he became one with the Divine Mother, completely one with the Divine Mother. This is the only way for transcending the Maya. Gunas means what? Maya. Maya belongs to whom? God. Therefore, the only way to get rid of Maya is to pray to the Lord that you withdraw your Maya, let me become one with you. This is the only way. So with this, the 14th chapter called Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Chaturdasho Adhyaya is complete. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsajano Lamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Next Gita class, December 5th, January 30th, February 26th. January 30th, December 5th, January 30th, February 26th. Have you noted?
February 26th.
Yeah.